So I've been prospecting along the Arkansas River for a while, and I found a spot that is really loaded with really fine flower gold. What really surprised me the most was how dramatically the results changed just over the course of a few feet. So I've been sampling a lot of spots, and I like to approach things very scientifically. I wanted to see the difference between spot A and spot B and spot C and spot D. This spot is 20, 30, 40 times better than the initial spots that I'd started at, and I was wondering if I moved a few feet what the result would be. So this video, I'm going to cover this, and at the end I'll show the results. So thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Drop a like, share, subscribe. It helps out a lot, and it'll help me know that you guys are enjoying the content and like the video, and that'll give me some encouragement to do more videos, because this takes a lot of time. Putting myself out there in front of people is not a real comfortable spot for me to be in, but I thought, I'm in Oklahoma. I found some gold on the Arkansas River. There are ways to find spots that will be better than other spots, so I thought I would share with you guys a little bit of what I've been studying and researching on to try to find good spots, because I know there are other people around that are interested in this as well. So yeah, the main theme, there is gold in Oklahoma along the Arkansas River. It's just hiding. You've got to know where to find it.
Well, I'm having to go really slow because, as you can see, like those little yellow white specks right there, that's gold. And then there's a nice piece of gold there. So it's taken a while because there's a lot of gold in here, so it's going pretty slow, and I don't usually clean up on the river, but I wanted to show you guys what it looked like. So hang tight, we'll get through this. Alright, this is getting pretty hard. That yellow right there, those are specks of gold, so there's a pretty good size. Well, that's not gold though, but there's a whole bunch of gold in here, so this is getting really difficult. There's a piece right there in the middle. Sorry, I can't point at it. I'm trying to do this one-handed, but let's just kind of see what I'm up against. This black sand is really, really dense. There's several more pieces there I just saw. You'll see them pop in and then pop out as they go from being on top to covered with the black sand. There's a piece right there. Like, there is gold all through here. I don't think realistically I'm going to be able to get this to where you can see, but there's 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces there, 8. I've probably seen 20 or more come down at the bottom. So once I can get this cleaned up, we'll see what it looks like. Plus, I was running my sluice really aggressively, so I'm sure a lot went off at the end. I'll check what's left in my tailings, what the current's not taken away yet. Got some shot pellets there, and this gold is fine because it has to make all the way through the Arkansas River to here before they put the dams on the lakes, because we don't have any gold naturally here. There's not a lot of gold here, but if you can find a few spots, you can get quite a few specks, but they're mostly very, very small specks. Let me just try to get through this last part here. We'll see what we have. Alright, so I decided to try a new spot just because it was right by where I'm sluicing at. The other spot was a pretty good walk, so yeah, it doesn't look quite as good, but we'll see. I mean, even if it's only half as good, it might be worth it not to have that big walk. So we'll clean this up, and we'll see if we even have any. I don't know, this is a much higher flow area whenever the floodgates are open. There's really no shelter here, but there were a lot of the bigger cobbles. They just didn't go very deep like the other spot. The other spot, I don't know how deep big cobbles go. They go really deep, but I'll pause. I'll be back in a minute, and hopefully we'll have some gold. Alright, so the moment of truth. Let me see if I can keep this in frame here while I'm trying to pan. This is not the easiest thing to do. Let's see. Some more shot. That's interesting though. Like, I've never found shot before. I see one piece so far. Now, this was a lot easier to clean up, but there is almost no gold here. So I did a good cleanup here. Like, I would feel comfortable throwing the rest of the stuff in the river here, because I feel confident I didn't miss any. But there was one little speck right there. I say little, it's decent size for here. But no, I'm not gonna stay at this spot. I'm gonna go back to my other spot and try the, so I got the first 4 inches layer. I'm gonna try the next 4 inches and see if it's better. So what am I digging in? It's kind of where the floodgates just pile up these cobbles here. What's really weird and different about this spot though is, like, I dug down a foot and it's still these cobble-sized stones. Give you an idea. Here's how big they are. And mixed with smaller ones, and also there's a lot of pretty decent sized rounded quartz here, so high velocity quartz. So that tells me that, you know, they've made it quite a ways to get here to be rounded like that and smooth. I know that I'm in an area where there's been some small but dense and heavy rock or gravel that's made it probably all the way from Colorado to here. It's kind of what the high velocity quartz tells me. It takes a long time and a lot of traveling for them to get rounded like that. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna dig down. It's kind of hard to see, but I've got about a 4-inch deep hole here. I'm gonna dig the next 4 inches down and see if I get consistent results. There's my hole now. It's, I don't know, I'd say maybe 6 inches deep. I just noticed that I see some red sand there, and that seems to be a good sign usually. So got my little over half bucket classified to 1/4 inch. Let's go run it through the sluice and see what we get. Let's see here if we can get some footage of this. This again, this 3D printed sluice. This is just a test that I did. So it's out of PLA, which is, PLA is not the optimal filament to be using for this, but that's what I had. So sluice is not quite straight. Oh well. But it works pretty well. You can see I've had the silicone it at the joints. Sorry if that sand's really loud. Yeah, I'm gonna have to lift this left side up a bit. It is too far down. Let's see here if we can manage to do this with one hand. It's actually pretty heavy compared to what it really weighs, because it's some quartz there. It's got a lot of water pressure pushing down on it. There we go. Let's see how that works. You can see the tailings pile there. I'll mess with that later. But so for now, man, I wish I would have brought a tripod. But there you can see it going over. I have some of these I printed out of TPU, and that works a little bit better. It's a little bit softer, and gold sticks to it a little bit better. Gold skates off the PLA pretty good. Plus PLA is not great with UV or water resistance, but since this is just a test, I didn't really care. But it's actually lasted longer than I expected. It's broken several times, which is why there's silicone going down the side of the green part on both sides. Those have snapped off, so that's why I used to keep it apart in my backpack, but with all the dirt and grit and stuff, it was really hard to get the snap pieces back together. And so I just ended up siliconing it all together, and it doesn't quite fit my backpack now, but that's okay. So, but yeah, this is the next layer down from my good spot that I've done really well in. Some of well, definitely the best ground I've ever found in Oklahoma. So. And again, sorry if shoveling is really loud. I need to get a microphone or something so I can control a lot of that. But you can see it does pretty good. So I kind of wish I would have printed it in white so I could see all of the black sands in there. But there's quite a bit of black sands in there. I can actually see it a little bit better in the camera because it's getting dark. But you can see there's still some vortex action going on in there, some exchanging. Really, for this to work better, I mean, I could go ahead and classify it a little bit further down, maybe the 1/8 or something. All the gold I found here is like smaller than 100 mesh. So, but yeah, I'll go ahead and try to get through the rest of this bucket, and we'll see if inches 5 through 6 are better than inches 1 through 4 in this spot, and then I'll try to go a little bit deeper. Got a good shot of the moon there, not even sure if it'll show up, and I'm gonna guess Saturn below it. Just beautiful, beautiful evening out here on the lake. Let's see if we can get a picture of that. There we go. Okay, now I have my headlamp on, so if I can keep my phone shadow out of the way, let's see what happens here when we put this on. Getting down to the end of the bucket now. And you can see here, there's quite a bit of black sand in there. You can watch as the blondes wash away, leaving the black sands behind, and then they find themselves a groove. So all those riffles are pretty packed. I already emptied it once, but I'm gonna go ahead and run the rest of the bucket through. I don't have much left. And then I'll pan it out and see what we got. Well, that was pretty disappointing. For what I could tell, 4 or 5 specks. Let's see if I can, there's one right there. So a little bit of a decent sized one right there. Oh, where'd it go? Anyways, yeah, I don't know. I would have thought I would have had more going down, but maybe it's all in the top 3 or 4 inches. Or maybe my sluice is losing way more than I think it is. So the other ones where I had so much more was all gold pan only. So I'll keep trying and we'll figure it out. Well, I don't know if it's good or bad or what, but there's 2 pieces of gold there. One's pretty good size, the other one's so small I'm having a hard time picking it up. But that's from my tellings pile. That's just from 3 little scoopers of it. So I don't know if that's a lot or a little bit. I don't know. I'm not sure. So anyways, we'll keep trying to figure it out. There is a lit up truck there. They're having fun down here. Down the river on the sand, you get a lot of 4-wheelers and all kinds of stuff. That's actually the highway up there. There's someone over the sand dune and trees there with a really bright light. It was shining all the way over on the other side of the riverbank earlier. You could see it, but yeah, there's a lot of people down here. Especially when it gets really hot, there'll be hundreds of people down here having fun. All right, well, I decided to go ahead and run through half of a bucket of the tailings to see what I got, and there's itty bitty piece of gold, a little bit bigger piece, and then one more right there. The rest of the sparkles are just reflections from my headlamp. But yeah, you can see those 2 right there really well. And that third one's a itty bitty one. So not too bad, I suppose, that I didn't lose that much. It's kind of bittersweet though, because that means that deeper layer had almost no gold in it. All right, let's try this again. I took a picture earlier instead of turned on the video camera. So I don't know if you'll be able to hear any of this over the motor. If you can't, then I'll just, in post edit, I'll turn the motor down and voice over. But heading out, it's a little after 10. Had a blast. I decided to go ahead and do one more bucket, but I did it from right next to the good spot because I was about 3 feet away from the good spot. And I did it all by hand instead of sluice. So I'm hoping that'll help make a difference maybe. But I love the drive back. It's really nice, especially at dark. I love the night. I love the dark. It's very comforting. It's like a nice blanket to me. We got stars. I don't know if you can see Orion's belt right there. This part right here is kind of like waves almost. Oh, it can be pretty rough. And here we are back at the parking lot. So I'll see you guys later. Hopefully I can get this video uploaded pretty quick. I'll get the cleanup finished up and we'll see what our total gold tally is.
Alright, so here is the cleanup from that final spot. So this is back closer to the original hotspot I'd found. The videos I did yesterday where I was getting pretty good results but not as good as expected, they were actually from about 3 feet away from that spot. I was trying to spot that I actually thought would be better, but again, this is from about 3/4 of a bucket classified down to 1/4 of an inch, and I don't have any idea how many specks there are. Maybe I can get a count or something, but it's, I don't know, I'd say 70 to 100 or more. But yeah, so again, off 3/4 of a bucket, I think this is a pretty good result. Thanks. Alright, so here we are. I got the last little bit of concentrates to clean up, and these are from the first 2 buckets. So I already finished the cleanup from the 3rd bucket, and each of these buckets are between 1/2 and 3/4 of a bucket full. So the first bucket yesterday that I finished last night, I guess, was from my 3rd bucket, which was by the original spot. So hello there. So at the beginning of the trip that I got a couple days ago, I moved about 3 feet away from the spot where I've been getting a lot of gold. So I wanted to test a little further upstream. So what I had is like there's this mound of cobble that has dropped off from the current, and I was about 5 or 6 foot into that mound. I'm 5 or 6 foot in that mound. I wanted to test the very beginning of that mound, and it was okay. There was a decent amount of gold there, but what I'll do is this right here that I'm about to go through is from the beginning of that mound. It wasn't quite as rich, it seemed, as about 10 foot into that mound. And I have some theories why there's more, like there's some shrubs and trees right where I was getting the really good stuff. So I'm thinking that the shrubs and trees are helping settle the gold out a little bit, kind of like riffles or whatever, or miner's moss on a real world scale. So anyways, let me go ahead and get through this last bit, and then we'll do a little comparison between the really rich spot and a spot about 3 or 4 feet away. So let me plug this in, and again, the impeller on the motor sounds like it's going out, so it's pretty loud. So just hang tight, I'll get plugged in. Alright, it's actually not too loud. So let me get the flow. Alright, so let me go ahead and process this through. This thing goes by pretty fast. It's way faster than canning. I tested last night. I had like a 99% capture rate, so it seems to do pretty well. Now, as much as I have here, I'll probably have to empty it to, well, you know, at least once or twice probably, so that I don't lose anything, or at least not too much. But using something like this, you know, it's going to allow me to process a lot more. Before I was just panning down stuff like this. It literally takes hours to pan this much black. Oh, this is almost all black sand. I know there's little blondes on the top, but it's almost all black sand. So yeah, it takes a long time to pan all that down. But yeah, we'll go ahead and run this through. I may put a video on fast forward or something so you guys don't have to watch it in real time. But we'll work on it and see what we got.
Let me see if I can get it to where you can see or not. The glare of the light makes it kind of hard to see, but what I'm watching for is the black sands. I want to make sure that I don't have too much buildup of black sands. Unfortunately, you can't really see it in the video, but the black sands are about to right here before they're really starting to trail off very much. So you can see at the end there's a lot of black sands. If you watch it closely, you can see some of those black sands flipping off the end. But I just don't want to have too thick of black sands, because then it won't give the gold a chance to settle out. I can see some gold in there. There's also some yellow fleck, because it seems like this is yellow stuff that's painted black like that yellow right there is where some black paint has worn on. This thing does work pretty well though. So, but yeah, I was trying to get some of this black sands to come out so that I could then start putting in some more. So let me put some more black sands in here, and we'll see if zoom back out to 1x here, and we'll see if it shows up. Oh, it's a little easier to see in 1x maybe. So if you look here, this is my view. So what I'm doing is just watching that pile of black sands right there as it streams down the very middle. You can see the gold sands are like rocketing by. The black sands are going pretty slow in the middle. And then they hit right here and they go real slow over these riffles, the nugget trap, which we don't have nuggets, but I went ahead and left it in there just as a precautionary backup in case any gold does. I like to have different textures to try to capture the gold, because like if it's the same all the way down and the gold managed to make it through here, there's a good chance the gold to make it through here as well, if I didn't have something different here. So, but yeah, let me go ahead and add some more in now. And actually I'll add maybe 2 scoops this time. And we'll watch that bubble down. There, I'll just kind of let that get spread out a little bit there. And you can see there it's starting to clear out the ribbing. You can see it right there, and then right there is kind of where you can't. There we go, now you can see better. So first we got these riffles here. We need to take these riffles out. And they come out pretty good. Also the whole thing just kind of slides out once you get the little water diffuser at the top. And you can see there's quite a bit of black sands packed in there where the ribs were, or the, I don't know, I call it expanded metal, but it's plastic and it's not expanded metal. So, but let's see here, I can use my handy dandy shovel here, clean out this gutter, which I think is funny that they use guttering for this. And we'll go ahead and empty that out. Let's go ahead and start trying to empty these out. Now, once I get a little bit of water in the pan, this does get pretty easy because I can turn it upside down, and it's pretty easy to do. Yeah, once we get enough water in the pan, this part gets pretty easy. So let me go ahead and just get some water in the pan now that we have enough where I don't have to worry about the concentrates falling out. Get the pan closer to the bucket here. And we'll be able to clean this all out. We need like a cup probably would have been easier, but that's okay. Alright, so let's see. First, let's get this plastic diamond stuff out of the way. Alright, now what I can just do is take this, kind of turn it inside out and straighten it as I'm doing that. And then just kind of like you see people do with sluices that use like high V or low V matting. Just do this little bit of back and forth action here. And then this actually leaves not very much concentrates at all. So I do like the way that it turns out. That's it. So I'll just do the backside because I felt the backside had a little sediment on it. Alright, so I'm just gonna put everything here in the pan. Pan's empty, so then let me pour out some of the extra water and then kind of get it all swirling around here. Alright, so let's Alright, so here I'm down to the end of the first pan back. Got a whole bunch of gold. Pretty big piece. Make sure I'm in camera here. Pretty big piece there for Oklahoma again. The rest of these, there are a ton of itty bitty specks in here. So the speck count's gonna be a little better than I was thinking probably, but boy, it's tiny. It's still, I don't think, anywhere near what a really good spot was, especially considering this is twice as much dirt. Alright, so here are my results from my trip the other day. So on the left here we have the sample that I did from my normal spot. This was about 3/4 of a bucket, and these are little display trays that I 3D printed today. I designed the model real quick, and I had to iron the bottom to try to make it as smooth as possible, but I wanted a way to display these as much as possible. So from what I could tell, is about 130-ish specks in here of varying sizes. Decent average size, I'd say, for Oklahoma. But this was from my really good spot. This was 3/4 of a 5-gallon bucket, classified at 1/4 inch. And then on the right is a spot about 3 foot away I tried. So you can see that there are larger pieces in here, but there are a lot of smaller pieces as well. So I counted these, there were I think 86 pieces here. So on the left we've got 3/4 of a bucket, 130 pieces. On the right we've got a bucket and a half. I did 2 buckets each, about, I don't know, half to 3/4 of a bucket full of a way full. Again, 1/4 of an inch classified. There's Grandmaster Wadley. They like to get in my gold, so I have to keep them locked up whenever I do stuff like this. But anyways, that to say, I think that my gold rate per bucket is about 3 to 4 times as much at my really good spot, just 3 feet away. So, again, prospecting is really about sampling and testing a lot of different combinations. So I think the biggest piece overall is going to be maybe either on the left, one of those right there kind of in the middle, or maybe on the right there on the far left side of that tray on the right. There's a couple. So I don't think there's any one piece that's just like way bigger than the others. Man, it's having a hard time focusing. But anyways, I wanted to show the difference that 3 feet of digging can do. So yeah, so thanks guys for watching.